Yo, what's going on, Geminites? It's your boy Gem Mint.
Manimal.
We just got done reading Wanted by Mark Millar, so we watched the movie with Angelina Jolie, with
McAvoy.
What's his name?
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy, and a ton of other people. So stay tuned. We'll do a little review. So yeah, I remember this movie now.
So you had seen it.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
I remembered it when I saw Angelina Jolie on the Netflix thing, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is where you bend the bullets,
Right.
and when she's all like this in the car. Mm-hmm. And then when a part of the movie came, we'll talk about later, I was like, oh, shit, I saw this whole movie before.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk real quick. They adapted this comic from Mark Millar, right?
Right.
They changed a few things.
Pretty much everything.
The beginning, I thought they were
opening
kind of...
scene is like right on.
They were
pretty
sticking
much.
with it a little bit. Well, not really.
Not right on.
Because in
like,
the opening scene, the killer was like having sex with two guys.
Right. Pretty much the only thing that's just like the book is him working in like a call center, his girlfriend fucking around on him with his best friend.
Right. And then it
Him being
kind
a
of went...
loser. Yeah.
And, well, they changed the whole thing that this wasn't super villains. It wasn't
Right.
heroes dead. There wasn't multiverse. It was basically an assassin's guild with like heightened senses.
Well, it was definitely more where, like, the book was kind of this, like, darker book where the villains ruled. And this was definitely kind of, as the plot went on, the good guys power through.
Right.
It's kind of a good guy story, to be honest.
Right. So, a lot of big-ass actors, though. So, Angelina Jolie.
Right. Morgan Freeman.
Chris Pratt. Fat Chris Pratt.
Common.
You had Common. You had, like we mentioned, James McAvoy, who at first, like halfway through the movie, I was like, oh shit, that's James McAvoy.
Oh, really?
And you know what? It's funny because it's also kind of like a split type of role in the sense that he's this loser in the beginning, and then he's so confident later on.
You know, speaking of split, was there were some scenes where he was like, stop yelling at me. That voice is like the voice he used in Split.
Yeah, when they popped the car upside down. So
Yeah.
this was crazy early 2000s,
Right.
like graphics. Like they just learned how to do certain things with CGI and all that.
So, not to kind of skip ahead, really, but this is not a good movie.
It's kind of like extreme.
Yeah, it's really, like, not a good movie.
It's extreme with the special effects. They're shooting bullets at each other, and the bullets like hit each other, and they curve bullets like boom, so the bullets go like this.
So, one of the things that bugged me when because I had seen it before a couple times probably, and I rewatched it as well this week. And so he has, of course, there's like the typical training part where he has all these training people, which I want to talk about later in the boss battles because it's kind of like a video game.
Yeah.
But he trains with this one dude with knives. He never uses a knife in the whole movie, bro. Not once.
Well, he does to fight the knife master.
No, he uses a gun.
Even
Even when he battles that guy, he uses guns. It's like, that was a pointless
So that was kind
skill
of
set.
in the book, though. Like, we have to beat you until you're not afraid of getting beat anymore.
Right.
So that was kind of from the book. The little Lazarus pits they had, was that part of the book?
No, but that was kind of cool.
It was kind of cool. Like, you had these pits where you, like, get, like, casted and molded. Like
It's almost like wax, but it heals you. They say that it speeds up your white blood cells to, like, speed up recovery.
So another thing that was different in the book was they show us who the killer of his father is right away.
Yes.
You know, killer of his father is
Right.
kind of like, there's asterisks next to those, but we see that, and then he's kind of training to kill the killer of his father. He inherits his father's fortune right away, not like in the book where it's like, if you do this, then you'll get it. But he gets like $3 million off top, and he quits his job.
So yeah, like a lot of the themes are the same, where it's like revenge against the killer of the father, and then there's like a twisty turn at the end with his father.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like the book, not the same, but the same kind of theme idea.
Yeah.
But what'd you think about the whole like fate thing, like the loom and whatnot?
That's when I realized that I've seen this movie before.
Okay.
And even back then, when I saw this when it first came out, and I wasn't reading comics at the time, this was like 2008, I was like, what?
Yeah.
So just this loom, which is, for people who don't know what that word is, because I sure didn't, like this big fabric creating, threading thing.
Right.
But what's controlling it?
Fate.
So, I mean, like, it's the on switch is on.
And it just goes.
And it just goes. And anytime a loop misses, it goes over an extra loop. That counts as a 1. And if it goes under, it's a 0. And they use binary code and it gives them these names. And that's who the Assassin Guild goes to hunt down.
Yeah, so basically the idea is like fate is telling them who needs to die to help out the world and keep people safe.
Kill one to save thousands.
Yeah.
Who the hell came up with that in this story? Like, Mark Millar didn't come up with that. Like,
Yeah, I don't know, dude. The story is way different. There's really just that opening cubicle scene type situation that's really the same.
And it's funny that they changed like the boss instead of because in the book he's like my African American boss or something. It's kind of a little racist.
Yeah.
And then they just made her like a fat woman in this movie. But it's funny. So they kind of do that. He's talking to the audience thing in the beginning, and at the end they try to
come back, but it's been gone for so long.
It's been gone the whole movie,
weird.
And they try to stick it to us, kind of how they did in the comics, a little bit, but it kind of seemed like pretty lame.
In the comics, what does he say? Like, "Fuck you," but then in this he goes, "What have you done today?" Or something like that. Right?
What have you done lately?
Yeah, what have you done lately?
I guess we should have skipped to the end, but whatever. It was lame, but I was like, I see what you're trying to do. But anyway, so I guess we skipped. So anyway, the Loom, yeah. Loom?
Yeah.
So Morgan Freeman, we find out that really he is the bad guy the whole time. He's not the old guy from the comics, who I guess is the guy who was
the professor.
The professor, right? Anyway, he's been tweaking the Loom because it called his name out. It called all his lieutenants out.
Right, which makes sense because the Loom is Fate, and Fate sees that he's going to break bad, so kill him before he does, and kills lieutenants because they're going to break bad with him, and they were all going to follow his lead, except for Angelina Jolie.
Well, her name got called too.
Yeah, but I think her name got called. I assume in my mind it's because Fate knows that if her name wasn't called, she may not have killed them all. So, but because her name was called, she followed.
So what about Angelina Jolie? She was hot as hell in this movie, man.
Really?
Facial wise,
dude, she looks anorexic. I remember this was the movie where she broke bad, in my opinion, in terms of sex appeal and whatnot. When she gets out of the wax pool, it looked like she needed 5 sandwiches.
So I think facial wise, she was hot, but she was really skinny in this movie.
Super skinny,
but she was cool. I mean, she was Fox, and she was the one that was kind of showing him the ropes. But you find out that really, I mean, we're going to do spoilers, obviously, because it's an old-ass movie that no one cares about.
Right.
Really, the killer is his father. Bless you.
Excuse me.
And the person that he killed, was that even real? Who did he kill?
He killed just one of the members.
Just one of the guys.
Yeah,
and Angelina Jolie was just doing her job. Fox was doing her job he's the only person, what's his name, Wilson?
Wesley.
Wesley is the only person that the killer wouldn't kill. Mm-hmm. Yo, killer, kill, B.
And they never actually call him the killer either.
They don't call him the killer, but the father, they know the father wouldn't kill him, so that's why they tapped him, which I thought was stupid. So you're going to tap another gifted person that's going to potentially mess you up, and he does.
It's a risk, for sure.
Anyway, it was cool how Angelina Jolie, she turns good at the end, even though she kind of goes bad for a little bit.
Well, she never really goes bad, though. Her whole moral is follow the code, the code, the code, the code.
Right.
And she thought she was following the code. She never broke bad. She never went bad. The code gave his name, time to kill him. That's how she falls. And it was kind of a backstory with her, too.
Yeah, her backstory was dope, but it was kind of bad in the sense that she was betraying this guy the whole time. It's part of the code, bro.
Yeah, it's the code. So
yeah, her backstory was there was a little girl that somebody broke into her house.
Well, her father was a judge.
Okay. Oh yeah. And I guess the person he was doing a trial for, they had to replace him for a judge they can buy. So I guess he couldn't be bought. He comes home. There's this bound, gag, torture killer. What do they call those serial killers?
BTK. He is a serial killer. Yeah.
Yeah. And type style, and he makes her as a little girl watch as he burns her father alive, and then he burns his initials into her.
Right.
And they said that the Loom gave the order to kill him a week prior, and they missed the hit.
Someone hesitated. Yeah.
And because of that, boom! Look what happened to her. So that's why she's always like, "Yo,
follow the code to the letter.
Follow it to the T."
Even to her death at the end.
So at the end, when the truth comes out, Morgan Freeman, he's like, "Look, all of your names in this room got called. That's why I started doing my own thing." And she kills everybody with one bullet that she curves in a 360 all the way back to herself. Boom.
So here's what I thought about that scene. Okay, I'm trying to suspend, obviously, disbelief. But there was one part I couldn't get past with that. She shoots this bullet. Mm-hmm. Not all these people are the same height. Okay, so how's it hitting necks and heads?
What bothered
you? Is this bullet going up and down? What's the trajectory?
If it's doing 360 spins,
I'm assuming I can suspend disbelief to watch it go into 360 the other, but I can't see it going like this.
Maybe they were all similar heights.
Yeah, right. Common's 4 inches taller than her.
Yeah. So anyway, it was cool when they taught our guy Wesley how to curve the bullet. Like he couldn't curve it because there was a hunk of meat in front of the bullseye, so she stands in front of it like
he needed like the pressure.
Yeah, and curved it up. So what else, man? So at the end, Morgan Freeman gets away, and then you think like, fuck, now what? And
he sets him up.
He sets him up like how. The guy in the so that's what doesn't make sense is the guy in the beginning got set up, but he was really nobody.
Right. I don't know. Well, I mean, it was the trick for Wesley.
Yeah. So he kills Morgan Freeman at the end, and then it goes to him, and he the monologue is happening where he's talking to the audience on how we're not shit and we're never gonna do shit, or like kind of like how the comic is, but just more tame.
Yeah. The whole movie was very tame.
I mean, there was killing, like headshots and all that type of shit, but I mean, as far as the bad mouthing the audience,
or the raping from the book,
or the raping and pillaging, he didn't do any of that.
A person made out of complete shit.
Oh yeah, that was in this book.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking, I was like,
because you didn't have the themed supervillains.
Yeah, was this
all.
the book with the multiverse and the supervillains?
Yes.
Yeah. So they left all that out.
I'd love to know. I was thinking about this when I finished watching the movie, and I meant to Google it, and I got busy. I wanted to read an article like what Mark Millar's opinion on this take of his book was.
How was this movie received in general? Because it was kind of...
It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't received
It wasn't really good. I mean, it had a lot of potential, but they fucked it up, man.
So the Mark Millar shout-out is that very last scene when Morgan Freeman comes to the cubicle and it's the decoy sitting there. There's a name tag that says J.G. Millar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were going to say he was the guy, the decoy.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
That's just a decoy. And it's cool. It's kind of like... Corn Freak on the Leash video, how they show the bullet travel from far as fuck.
That's a good point.
And it goes through the boss, his ex-boss who's eating the donut and all this stuff.
My favorite aspect of this movie, and it's always been my favorite since when it came out, is the 9 Inch Nails song that's playing.
Oh.
I love that song, and I remember anytime I hear that song, I think about this movie. Just because I love that part of that movie.
It was very Matrix-esque, too. Kind of how I said the book felt like the Matrix a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, tapping him felt like the Matrix. So, I don't know. I mean... If you read the book, it's kind of fun to watch the movie and see how different they are.
Right, completely different.
But, I guess the movie was kind of whack.
Yeah.
But,
so,
man.
What is it? 2 snaps?
2 snaps and a thumbs down. But, nah, man, it was fun to catch the book in a movie. Give us a suggestion for any other comic book movie adaptations.
It's always fun to do these.
Yeah.
These are like one of my favorite segments.
No, actually. I like it too, yeah. And it gives you an excuse to like watch some movie that you never would have watched or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Let us know what you guys think about the movie Wanted in the comments below. If you have seen it, hit us that like on the way out. And make sure to subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Stay minty. Peace.